The jury, the defendant, and all counsel. Ms. Arias, you are still under oath. Do you understand?
Yes.
Mr. Martinez, you may continue.
State moves of the addition of Exhibit 470.
Any objection?
None, Your Honor.
470.
Now, yesterday we were talking about the time that you took your luggage and you placed it in your car. You remember we were talking about that?
Yes.
And one of the things that you were telling us was that you didn't remember what you had said on direct examination. Do you remember that?
I didn't remember the precise wording. That's correct.
Well, no, you didn't remember the time. It was more than the precise wording, wasn't it?
I don't remember the exact time. That's also correct.
And when I asked you if it was closer to 5, you weren't able to tell me, were you?
Yes.
And in fact, what the exchange was on direct examination was that you were asked, so you say you're packing your luggage or you packed your luggage in your car and you're getting ready to leave. And the question was, do you remember about what time of the day that this was when you were packing your car and getting ready to leave? And you said, I don't. It was after that. I think it was after 2, I'm sure. So it was after 2 o'clock that you took everything and put it down at the car, correct?
That makes sense.
When you say that makes sense, although it makes sense, I'm asking you if that's what happened.
Well, it would have been after 2 because before 2 we were having sex.
Pardon?
Before 2 we were otherwise engaged.
But after 2 o'clock, the way you're saying it is you're saying it could be 6 o'clock in the evening. It was after 2, specifically it was around 2 o'clock when you actually put the luggage in the car, right?
It was after 2 o'clock. I don't know how close to 2 o'clock.
Okay, so it could have been between 2 and... So you're telling us it was shortly after 2 o'clock based on that statement, right?
I just know it would have been after we did what we were doing.
And was it shortly after you did what you were doing?
Well, maybe, maybe not. I guess it's relative. I just know that it was after what we were doing. I don't remember the exact time.
I just want to know how much time after you and he got done doing what you were doing. You said 2 o'clock. What time, in terms of hour or minute, how much time elapsed after that you took your items down to the car?
I'm not sure.
And so when you say you're not sure, you were a little bit more sure on direct examination, weren't you?
Not on exact time, no.
But you were more sure about the time. Do you want me to read it back to you?
Objection, asked and answered.
Overruled.
I was more, wait, you asked me 2 questions.
Well, answer the first one then. You were ready to answer that.
I was sure that it happened after we were done having sex.
And you mentioned 2 o'clock, didn't you?
That would have been after 2 o'clock, yes.
So then you were asked, so after your car's packed and ready to go, you said you were dressed, right? You were being asked about that?
I was dressed, yes. Unless we were engaging in other things, I was always dressed.
And it was after you packed your car that you and he then went downstairs to the study, right? Or the office, however you want to call it.
We did go downstairs after the bedroom stuff, but I don't know about packing the stuff in the car.
Well, when did you pack your stuff then? You seem to have a hard time telling us when you packed your stuff.
Yes, the precise moment, I don't remember when I put things
Am I
in the
asking
car.
you for the precise moment, ma'am?
You said when?
Right. When means, if I wanted the precise moment, I'll ask you for the precise moment. When, in the sequence of events, did you pack your stuff and put it in the car?
As far as sequence of events, the most precise I can tell you is after 2 o'clock and before leaving.
And you can't get any clearer than that?
It's not there, maybe it's somewhere there, but I don't remember.
So again, it's an issue with your memory as to when it was that you actually put the stuff in the car, correct?
That's correct.
And when you put the items in the car, did you do it alone or did Mr. Alexander help you?
I did it alone.
Do you remember telling us that perhaps Mr. Alexander helped you?
Yes, it's possible that he helped me with it downstairs, but usually he let me get my own luggage.
So usually means that you're telling us that you don't remember whether or not he helped you on this occasion, right?
I don't know. I'm pretty sure that he helped me bring it downstairs, but I don't remember him walking me out to the car to put my own luggage in.
So you went outside and you put it in your car, right? And your car was parked out front in the driveway, correct?
It was parked in the driveway, yes.
And would it be fair to say that if your car didn't have a license plate affixed to the back, that it would make it more difficult for people to know who was driving that car?
If that were true, I guess so.
That would be the case though, right?
If there were no license plate, that would be true.
And we know that you hadn't put back, at least the front license plate, you hadn't put that back, correct?
That's correct. I drove from Pasadena to Mesa with it in the floorboard.
So the answer is that's correct. It was still in the car, correct?
Yes.
And so you're inside and you're in the study and you're looking at some CDs or something, correct?
Correct.
How long does that take in terms of time?
That one took a while because it took him some time to bring up some of the images or find the disk drive on his computer. I don't remember the exact time, but it seemed to take forever.
So how long is a while to you?
I don't know. It just seemed like it dragged and dragged while he went looking for the disk drive, and I was just laying on the floor with Napoleon.
Are we talking hours? What are we talking about here?
I wouldn't say hours. It just felt like a lot longer than it should take to pop a CD into the computer and bring up some photographs that are on the CD.
So it was just one CD that was popped into the computer, right?
There were 2 CDs.
And there was this issue involving the 2 CDs, and then you and he had some sort of intimacy after that, correct?
Yes.
And the intimacy that you had after that, it was not a situation that it was unwanted by you, correct?
That's correct.
It was something that you participated in willingly, correct?
Yes.
And then after that, at some point, Mr. Alexander goes to take a shower, correct?
Yes.
What did he do after the intimacy was done? Did he go anywhere? Did he do anything before he went up to the shower?
I'm not sure what he did because I left the room to go to the bathroom across the hallway.
And so you went to the bathroom across the hallway, and after using that bathroom, you came back out, right?
Yes.
And when you came back out, was Mr. Alexander in the office?
Yes.
And how long was he in the office before the 2 of you went somewhere else?
A few minutes. We went upstairs
And you went upstairs to do what?
to take photographs.
And so you're telling us that he agreed with you to take photographs, right?
Yes.
Do you remember that you had a conversation with the detective and that you told a different story?
No.
Well, let's listen then. Move for the admission of Exhibit 503.
503 is admitted.
Afternoon. I just, he had been cleaning his house. So I wasn't sitting on the couch. Usually I would just chill on the couch downstairs, if no one was home. But he had like chairs and all that stuff all over the couch. Like he was cleaning the floors or something. Fed Napoleon. I don't know if he made phone calls or not, or what he was doing on the internet, but at one point he was going to go up and take a shower, and it took a lot of convincing prior when he was shaving. I was like, I got some ideas, and they didn't turn out good at all, not like I wanted to, but I thought that I could get some cool pictures of him shaving. It's because he does the whole old-fashioned thing with like this little, I don't know how it works. He liked it though, apparently, because he used it for his profile picture on MySpace. So those didn't turn out as good. I was going to do that again later, but I asked him if I could do pictures of him in the shower, and he's like, no. And I was like, I just have an idea. I have a couple ideas. And he's like, well, what do you mean? And I said, I saw this thing in a Calvin Klein ad once that looked really good. And so he was, you're right, he wasn't very comfortable at first. He's standing there and he's all, I feel gay.
And so it took a lot of convincing for you to get him to take those photographs, right?
Yes, I was talking about a prior incident.
Ma'am, it does indicate that it took a lot of convincing for you to take those photographs of him, correct?
Yes, but not on June 4th.
Ma'am, the photographs that I was asking you about in the shower were the ones involving, or that you were asked about on direct examination, involved him taking a shower on June 4th. Do you remember that?
Yes.
That's the same thing that we're talking about here on June 4th, isn't it?
No, that's the distinction. We had discussed the shower photos long before this.
So you're saying that when you told that to the detective, you're talking about something totally different other than June 4th?
A conversation that occurred before June 4th,
Ma'am,
yes.
well, I'm asking you if the conversation that you're having there with the detective, is it in reference to the June 4th, 2008 photographs, yes or no?
Yes, in an indirect way, it obviously is, because the photos
Ma'am, yes
exist
or no?
because he agreed to do
Ma'am,
it.
yes or no?
I said yes.
So it does refer to the photographs on June 4th, 2008 then, right?
Yes, but not the
And
conversation.
ma'am, my question is, after that, it does say that it took a lot of convincing to get him to have those photographs, right? Yes or no?
That's correct.
And it also indicates that at the time he was shaving, right?
No.
It doesn't indicate that he was shaving before he took the photographs?
No, that was another incident.
Well, let's take a look at what it says again, all right?
Afternoon, I just, he had been cleaning his house. So I wasn't sitting on the couch. Usually I would just chill on the couch downstairs, if no one was home. But he had like chairs and all that stuff all over the couch. He was cleaning the floors or something. Fed Napoleon. I don't know if he made phone calls or not, or what he was doing on the internet, but at one point he was going to go up and take a shower, and it took a lot of convincing prior when he was shaving. I was like, I got some ideas, and they didn't turn out good at all, not like I wanted to. But I thought that I could get some cool pictures of him shaving. It's because he does the whole old-fashioned thing with like this little, I don't know how it works. He liked it though, apparently, because he used it for his profile picture on MySpace. So those didn't turn out as good. I was going to do that again later, but I asked him if I could do pictures of him in the shower, and he's like, no. And I was like, I just have an idea. I have a couple ideas. And he's like, well, what do you mean? And I said, I saw this thing in a Calvin Klein ad once that looked really good. And so he was, you're right, he wasn't very comfortable at first. He's standing there and he's all, I feel gay.
And ma'am, you heard the conversation in which you said that it took convincing, correct?
Yes.
And you indicated that he was shaving prior to these photographs being taken, right?
Yes, months prior.
Ma'am, did you hear on that tape that it said he was shaving, right?
Yes.
And ma'am, one of the things that we know from what you told us previously was that, do you remember the situation of you being tied up to the bed with this rope? Do you remember telling us that?
Yes.
And do you remember that you told us that he was engaging in performing oral sex on you? Do you remember that?
Yes.
And do you remember that you said it was stopped because it was uncomfortable? Do you remember saying that?
Yes.
And the reason that it was uncomfortable that you said was because he hadn't shaved that day. Do you remember that?
Yes.
And so he hadn't shaved that day, had he?
No, he did
On the
not.
day that you killed him, he hadn't shaved yet, right?
I don't think he shaved at all that day.
You don't think? Well, then let's take a look at Exhibit 159. It's not going up there, Judge. I switched it. So is there any way we could get the one back there to work? All right, take a look at the exhibit 159 that's behind you. You see that?
Yes,
Looks like he's shaved, doesn't it?
it appears that way, yeah.
Yeah, and it looks like he's recently shaved, doesn't it?
It does look that way.
And you were talking to Detective Flores about him shaving prior to the photographs being taken, weren't you?
Yes, but not this day.
Ma'am, you did indicate in this excerpt of your conversation with the detective that it involved, that there was this shaving before these photographs were taken. Do you remember talking about it on the excerpt?
The shaving photo shoot, yes.
Do you want me to play it for you again so you can hear what you say about the shaving previously?
No thanks, I know what I said.
Well, it appears that you're having trouble acknowledging what you said. In it, you talk about him having to be convinced, correct?
Yes,
And one of the things that you said was that you convinced him while he was shaving, correct?
no, that's not correct.
Well, let's listen to it again, okay?
Afternoon, I just, he had been cleaning his house. So I wasn't sitting on the couch. Usually I would just chill on the couch downstairs, if no one was home. But he had like chairs and all that stuff all over the couch. Like he was cleaning the floors or something. Fed Napoleon. I don't know if he made phone calls or not, or what he was doing on the internet, but at one point he was going to go up and take a shower, and it took a lot of convincing prior when he was shaving.
Did you hear that? It took a lot of convincing prior when he was shaving. Did you hear yourself say that?
Yes, but that's not what
Yes
I'm
or
referring
no,
to.
ma'am? Am I asking you to expound on it? I just asked you whether or not you heard that you said it took a lot of convincing prior when he was shaving. That's what you said, right?
Yes,
And previous to that, we have you on the bed when you're making or having this intimate moment where you complained that it's not comfortable to you because he hadn't shaved yet, right?
yes.
So then we take a look at exhibit number 159. And he is recently shaved, correct?
It appears that way.
That's because he just shaved afterwards, right? After you
I
and
didn't
he
see
were
him
in
shave
bed.
that day.
Pardon?
I didn't see him shave that day.
You did say, though, to this detective in that interview on July 16th of 2008 that it took a lot of convincing while he was shaving. You did say that,
I
right?
said when, not while, and it was actually a run-on sentence because I was referring to another day.
So you're saying that you had a rattle-on sentence. You did hear yourself saying that it took a lot of convincing when he was shaving then, right?
It sounds that way, but when is the new sentence?
Let's hear it again then, okay? So we can really understand what it said, all right?
Afternoon, I just, he had been cleaning his house. So I wasn't sitting on the couch. Usually I would just chill on the couch downstairs, if no one was home. But he had like chairs and all that stuff all over the couch. Like he was cleaning the floors or something. Fed Napoleon. I don't don't know if he made phone calls or not, or what he was doing on the internet, but at one point he was going to go up and take a shower, and it took a lot of convincing prior when he was shaving. I was like, I got some ideas.
Did you hear that? That, according to you, he was going to go up and take a shower, and it took a lot of convincing prior when he was shaving. Isn't that what you said? Yes or no? That's all I'm asking.
Yeah, but you stopped it before the sentence was over.
Ma'am, isn't that what you said?
Yes, part of what I said.
Isn't that what you said?
Yes, that's part of the sentence.
Well, then let's hear it then, all right?
Afternoon, I just, he had been cleaning his house. So I wasn't sitting on the couch. Usually I would just chill on the couch downstairs, if no one was home. But he had like chairs and all that stuff all over the couch. Like he was cleaning the floors or something. Fed Napoleon. I don't know if he made phone calls or not, or what he was doing on the internet, but at one point he was going to go up and take a shower, and it took a lot of convincing prior when he was shaving. I was like, I got some ideas, and they didn't turn out good at all, not like I wanted to, but I thought that I could get some cool pictures of him shaving. It's because he does the whole old-fashioned thing with like this little, I don't know how it works. He liked it though, apparently, because he used it for his profile picture on MySpace. So those didn't turn out as good. I was going to do that again later, but I asked him if I could do pictures of him in the shower, and he's like, no. And I was like, I just have an idea. I have a couple ideas. And he's like, well, what do you mean? And I said, I saw this thing in a Calvin Klein ad once that looked really good. And so he was, you're right, he wasn't very comfortable at first. He's standing there and he's all, I feel gay.
That's your whole statement, right? Yes. Involving that issue. And part of that statement says he was going to go up and take a shower, and it took a lot of convincing prior when he was shaving, correct? That's what it says. Yes or no?
Yes, part of it.
Yes or no?
Yes, part of it.
Yes or no?
Yes, part of it.
You keep saying part of it.
Because you're not finishing the sentence. Maybe the transcriber put a period there, but that's not the whole sentence.
You heard it over and over again, and we've heard it, and that's what it says, right?
Yes.
Those words were uttered by your mouth back on July 16th of 2008. Yes or no?
That's
You're
correct.
asked and answered this about half dozen times.
Sustained.
Now, you were standing there taking some pictures, and how long were you standing there taking some pictures before something happened?
I don't know.
You did have his camera, right?
Yes, I wasn't standing.
It was relatively new camera for you, right?
Yes.
It's the first time you'd ever seen it, right?
First time I ever saw it physically and held it. I can't remember if I looked it up on the internet when we were shopping for it.
So the answer is yes, that's the first time you've ever seen that specific camera, correct?
That I recall, yes.
Well, ma'am, had you been to Mr. Alexander's home between April when you left and June 4th of 2008?
No.
And wasn't it true that it was during that time, between April of 2008 and June 4th of 2008, when you killed him, that he bought the camera, right?
Yes.
So it's fair to say, based on that set of circumstances, that you had never seen his camera before, correct?
Based on that solely, that's correct.
Well, are you saying that you saw this camera, his camera, previous to that day?
Yes.
And where did you see his camera if you haven't seen him before between April when you left and June of 2008 when you saw him?
He posted a picture of himself in the mirror taking a picture of his whole self in the bathroom on Facebook, and his camera is clearly in the photograph.
So how about if we do it this way? When was the first time you actually got to touch his camera? Was it on June 4th of 2008?
Yes.
And it's fair to say that you had never physically manipulated or worked with his camera prior to June 4th of 2008, correct?
Yes.
And June 4th of 2008, in terms of getting familiar with that camera, that was the first opportunity that you had, correct?
Correct.
You did have an opportunity when you were taking pictures of him to at least see how it worked to take photographs, right?
Yes.
You were unsuccessful in working the camera to take a video, correct?
Correct.
And that was partly because you were unfamiliar with the camera, right?
Yes.
You hadn't read the instructions, right?
I had not.
And so then, with regard to that particular camera, you start using it later on in the afternoon. About what time do you start taking these photographs in the shower, ma'am?
Off the top of my head, I don't remember the time. I guess they're timed on the photos, but I can't tell you the time.
Ma'am, I'm not asking what's on here. I'm asking what you remember, what you are cognizant of.
It
Do
was
you know?
sometime
Yes or
in the
no?
afternoon.
Do you know a time? Yes or no?
No.
And so, but you, with regard to this particular camera, previously you have also told us that you have not deleted any photographs from that camera, correct?
Previously, I believe
Right.
that's correct. About the pictures of me, I said,
Ma'am, I'm asking, do you remember that we talked about this yesterday, about the photographs that were taken of you and him on the bed? Do you remember that?
yes.
And you remember that you told us that it was he who had actually deleted the photographs from the camera. Do you remember telling us that?
She said they both did.
Earl, you may answer.
I believe they were deleted, but I don't remember how that happened. I think he deleted them after we took them.
You don't remember how it happens. If you don't remember how it happens, it's fair to say that you didn't do it, right?
Objection argumented.
Sustained, rephrase.
Well, you didn't delete the photographs, did you? The sex photographs, did you?
I might have deleted them.
Well, I thought you said that just now, that it was he, meaning Mr. Alexander, that deleted the photographs.
I believe it was him, but I can't be sure, so it could have been me, but I believe
So-
it was him.
Let's go with your belief. If it is your belief that he's the person that deleted the photographs, then that excludes you from deleting the photographs, right? Based on that belief.
Only if you base it on the belief, but that doesn't mean it's
Well-
actually the reality.
Ma'am, everything that you tell us from the witness stand is your belief, isn't it?
I'm just saying they got deleted.
Yes or no? Everything that you're telling us is what you believe, right? If we're going to use the word believe.
It's the truth to the best of
I'm
my
not
memory.
asking you if it's the truth. Am I asking you if it's the truth?
Yes.
I am asking you that? I thought the word was
Maybe not.
believe. Isn't it true that I'm asking you what you believe? And you told us that you believe it was Mr. Alexander who deleted the photographs of you and he having sex.
What was the question?
The question is, isn't it true, ma'am, that you just told us that you believe it was Mr. Alexander who deleted the photographs of you and he having sex on the bed?
I believe it was him, yes, but I'm not sure.
But you believe that, right?
It's likely, but I'm not sure. I believe it was probably him.
And if he's the one, assuming that we adopt your belief, if he's the one that deleted the photographs, then up to that point, when you're taking photographs of him in the shower, you haven't deleted any photographs from his camera yet, correct?
Not necessarily, no, that's not correct.
Well, the only photographs that are on that camera that were taken that day when you got there are the ones involving the sex. You're aware of that, right?
No, that's not true.
Well, you took other